What's up, everybody? Hoang Zero here, and today we have for you all a very, very special treat. That is the BT23 tier list. BT23 is going to be a pretty long format, I think, until we get the Sakuya starter deck in December, and then the BT24 in January. So we're going to be here for quite some time, so there may be a couple other tier lists throughout this as we get, updates throughout the format, but for the most part, this is going to be the Hoang Zero tier list. Joining me today, we have Zero, as per usual.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And then we also have guest star Jaxie, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? Thank you for tapping in.
Perfect, thank you very much. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to cover quite a bit today. You'll notice that our tier list is a little bit more extensive than it normally is on this channel, and that is because we did not do a tier list for the EX10 format, so I figure we might as well knock that out right at, because EX10 was what, like, tail end of last month, right? So pretty recent. So I figured we might as well, like, put that in, right? Throw a little freebie. Yeah, so this tier list is going to be based on the power level of the decks. So representation, power level, however you want to define your tier list is up to you. But for this tier list, we are going to be going based on the power level of the decks. In tier 1, we have decks that are likely to win events. Tier 2, these decks will likely have multiple tops. Tier 3 are going to be your rogue decks. These are decks that will not have a ton of tops, but a good pilot will be able to take it all the way. Tier 4, these are your for fun decks, likely not to make it all the way to the top of an event. And Tier 5 is you play this to get top 64 at a locals. So that is what...
Good choice.
Yeah, good choice, right? So that's what we're going to go ahead with. And to start us off, we're going to be talking about the hottest, newest deck coming out in BT23, Hoodie, or is it Hoodie? Hoodie? How do you even pronounce
Hoodie,
it?
Heidi, I don't know.
Yeah, right. You're right.
Hoodie
Yeah, so for everyone that doesn't know, Hoodie is the new deck, the new big scary Ooga Booga, right, from BT23. This deck is fast, it is strong, it has great control tools, great aggression tools, it really just does everything, but more importantly, it runs away at the end of the turn, so there's like nothing for you to interact with, making it a very difficult deck for a lot of decks to deal with, right? You guys,
I think good comparison. Sorry, I think a good comparison for this deck would be peak power purple hybrid.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
Well, purple hybrid with access to analog, which it never had access to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this deck, I know we've all been playing BT23 for a little bit, and we've seen this deck. BT23 is legal in Asia because they don't have a pre-release like we do, and Hoodie has already started winning a couple of events over there, albeit very small events, but it's won a couple here and there. I think this deck is easy tier 1 going forward, and arguably the best deck in the format, right? It's definitely a contender for that. And there are multiple variants of Hoodie, which I think is really scary, right? There is the way Hoodie was likely intended to be played with like the Chitose, the Ryuji, and all of them, right? And there's also Hoodie Loop, where we're seeing players use the Angemon to go into like the Pyildramon to like get additional swings and just try to kill your opponent in one go. And we've also seen variants as a more control approach, where they're running cards like the Crania CS as well as the Venusmon. What do you guys think about the three?
Yeah.
You want to go ahead, Joe?
Yeah, I can go. This is the deck to beat. I definitely think traditional Hoodie is probably the best. The scariest thing about it is I don't think some super spicy list has been discovered yet, and it already feels like the best deck in the format. Like, it doesn't feel like it's been optimized. It doesn't feel like people have optimized for the mirror, and yet, you have options from Venus to Pyildramon, you have Justimon, you have Gallantmon you can put on top. Like, the scariest thing about this deck is that it's already really strong, already has good matchups into kind of all the top decks, and it hasn't even tried to adjust its playstyle to anything. And so how much scarier will it be when it has to adjust?
You guys know what a situation reminds me of? You remember when Crossheart came out in BT10?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a very similar situation where it's a deck that came out the gate tier 1, and you don't have to build it very much. You just slap on 4 of the engine and it's just automatically good. And you build it completely from the set, so it's very accessible. It's not a situation where one of those decks where it's really good, but you need to get a really expensive promo from 20 sets ago. It does need four secret rare, so that's like the only really big downside for the deck. But otherwise, if you get your 4 secret on release, you're good. Yeah, as you mentioned, there's multiple variant of the deck, right? Like we've tested regular and it feels good. The loop, there's a loop version where you just DNA into Shaco and then you the Digivolve down back into the Hoodie, and then you know, because it's a new stack, you swing, you spawn another body, and you DNA again, right? So that version is really strong. It seems really strong too. I still think the regular version is probably the best based on what we've seen so far. It's just because of the amount of consistency and tools that I have access to, some of the interaction that you can do, the fact that you can swing, use a tamer suspend effect, bounce it, play it back out, tap something else for alliance, use the same tamer suspend effect again, allow for you to have so many flexible play. Like for example, with Ryuji, you can play 2 different options for free from your hand off of that play. That's 10 memory that you're cheating out. And it's just like there's so many insane option that you can do, and this is like without any sort of cooking done, like you said. So this deck only has room to get better as the meta develop.
I think what's also really interesting about Hoodie is, you know, the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people, right, is like, oh, how do we beat Hoodie? Is like, oh, tamer removal, right? But Hoodie as a deck generates tamers on such a crazy scale that you have more tamers than can be removed, right? You have decks like V2 Vade and Galacti, where it's like, if you see white option, which is the Net Cafe, you're like 3 tamers compared to like the 1 removal that they're gonna pump out, right?
It's very realistic for you to set 4 tamer on turn 2. Like that's not even like a high roll.
Yeah, and consistently you're gonna hit 3, so it's very, very annoying. And you know, you just can't interact with the board. You know, like tamer removal. It's not quite enough tamer removal. They have the white option, which is crazy, so they don't even have to like scarily put up a tamer in case you can remove it. They can just hide behind the white option, and then once it's their turn, they can just cash in white option, turn it into a tamer, and put 4 more tamers on board, and you're just blown out of the game. So it's definitely, you know, crazy strong. I like the out the box new deck gimmick that they've been going for with adventure and hero and stuff. They may have overcooked with this one. I'll just say it. They may have.
Hoodie to me is like adventure on crack, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It does a little bit too much. It for a deck that kill as fast as it does, it also have access to an insane amount of removal and like a crazy amount of defensive tool. Like you can go into a Shaco with floating that float into another Hoodie if it gets removed. So you have to remove it in very specific way, like the Digivolve, etc. You know, it play around scramble. Like you cannot scramble into this deck. You cannot play any tamer that gain a memory from your opponent have a Digimon, never infinite, like you will never get value out of it. Like playing CS into this deck was extremely frustrating because all your tamer generate 0 memory. It's just crazy. It just does way too much in testing, and again, this is bare bone slap whatever Bandai designed together without any sort of like special testing or cooking or deck building.
Without any sauce, you know?
Yeah. And then as far as the Hoodie loop goes, because I know we touched on it like a sentence or 2 here and there. It is a 9-card combo, but every instance of your DNA into like the Digivolve through the CS rookie, right, like Palmon Terrier, it's like a draw 4. So draw 4, hit the pieces again, and just like keep going until they're dead, right? So that's the really scary part.
So like, what was it? Guru loop.
Oh, gas.
Yeah. Gas. You just draw 4, and you just keep going until you run out. So there's
like
options.
We don't know which version of Hoodie is the best right now, but regardless, one of them is probably tier 1, and there's a chance multiple of them is tier 1.
Yeah. But there are other tier 1 decks. I don't know if Hoodie's necessarily going to be a tier 0 format. I don't think it will be. But there are other really, really good tier 1 decks, right? Like good old reliable Gallantmon, you know?
Yeah. If you don't interact with me, I won't interact with you, buddy. I'll just kill you.
Yeah, disgusting deck. Has been top of the format for quite some time now. It's been a good deck for quite some time now. You think we're done with Gammamon, and then out of nowhere, they decided to print BT23 Gallantmon, which is an insane buff to the deck. Because previously, Gallantmon actually, and this sounds weird, I know it sounds weird, it struggled to remove stacks sometimes. Because all of your removal was tied to kind of Gallant X, right? Because a lot of the increased DP threshold cards that would allow you to pop level 6s, you didn't run, right? You instead, you favored the cards that generated memory instead. They ran like a one of, BT19 Growlmon, I think, is like a one of usually. But otherwise, everything was like a gain memory, right? So your level 6s outside of Gallant X didn't actually pop level 6s. This new Gallantmon pops like 12 to 14k pretty easily, right? And it also comes with an additional bonus where your opponent can't play stuff from trash, which is very significant because if we're giving this floodgate-esque effect to one of the strongest decks in the format, how does the rest of the format pan out? Well, if you're a purple deck, you probably don't feel very great, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but we're always down for purple to suffer, so, we love this. We love this for us.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys remember when purple used to be, like, one of the worst colors in the game, and then Bandai just decided for, like, 2-3 years in a row or something for, like, purple to be, like, the supreme?
But, like, I don't know about you guys, but for, like, 5 format in a row, we just have a purple deck just randomly terrorizing people with some incredibly long loop nonsense, so... Maybe it's time for them to step down.
I wish it wasn't Gallant doing it, but like someone gotta do it, I guess.
But somebody has to be a hero, however unlikely they might be.
But yeah, Gallant is a really strong deck. It now has access to even better removal tools. It's consistent, very consistent, right? You're actually disgusting searching. Super memory efficient, has insane kill pressure. What else is there to say? The deck is good,
Yeah, Gallant is Gallant, so it's just, it's the best OTK deck. It's the most efficient, most consistent deck in the format, just with all of its searchers between Cool Boys, all the training, and then all the Gil X's. Yeah, so it's going to keep doing what it's doing. It won our Nats, and it'll probably continue to win a lot more. So until it gets a hit.
And then going into the EX10 decks, we'll just go ahead and knock these all out. The best performing EX10 deck by a fucking mile is a Magnetic Dramon / Pyramid, Close, whatever you want to call it, right? From a result standpoint, this deck has performed phenomenally, right? It's done very, very well for itself. It's multiple top cuts. It's even won, I think it won a regional too, actually. It's done a lot, to be honest. And it's in a pretty good position overall. It's the biggest Digivolve abuser in the format, right? It's just so easy. It's built into your 4, your 5, and it's just super easy to proc. Not only that, but also a really great recursion for the most part, right? You have Close that respawns the body, Scramble access, the EX10 Sooneriza to refill your stack. Like, it just does a lot. It kills from 4 securities super consistently. And, it's a really strong deck. It has great tools via Fragment as well, which is a very powerful mechanic. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Magnetic Dramon is a tier 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy that they printed this deck, and then in the Fallen set, they printed Ghosts.
Oh, disrespectful. As a puppets and fish player, this deck makes me mad. This deck makes me really mad.
It is so far and away better than any other Liberated deck they printed, and it's not even remotely close.
It's just not fair, man. I want to play the game like they do.
The next best Liberated deck is maybe scraping tier 3.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Every once in a while, Zafaga does something cool.
That's probably Zafaga, the scraping tier 3.
Yeah, barely. Yeah, no, this deck's sick. It just has such cheap D-Digi at all times, and lots of collision. And then the Tumblemon is just crazy recyclable. So it's just like whatever you need, this deck has. So very strong, very consistent. I do think it has a lot more predators after this set due to cards like Justimon. There's a lot more option removal. Examon removes options, and this deck is very option heavy. So is Gallant, so I'm hoping that maybe
I think
acts as more of a predator for these decks.
I think one of the
overall,
biggest, I think one of the biggest
best.
weaknesses. Sorry for cutting you off. But one of the biggest weaknesses of this deck, I think that the other two don't suffer as much. If you don't see the Tamer, you're kind of just like you can't play the game, right? If you don't see clothes, you can't play the game. You can say that about Hoodie, right? If you don't see a Tamer in Hoodie, sure, right? But in Hoodie, you're playing like 12 plus Tamers or something like that, right? Very different like ballpark, right? If you don't see Tamer and Hoodie, then like you just brick, right? If you don't see Tamer and Magnetic Dramon, like I mean, you're playing what, like 6 closes, like literally half the amount as Hoodie.
To be fair, even if you don't see Tamer and Hoodie, you can literally just evolve a 4-string out, draw 3 card, dig top 3 for like a card. You're probably not breaking.
That's also very true. Yeah, no, that's also very valid. So case in point, right? Magnetic Dramon, that being its drawback, where it's like if you don't see Tamer and you just can't play the game, because then like your Gravel Heart is offline, your like resource efficiency is just dead in the water, and I think that is like kind of what separates it from like the other two offenders, if you will, you know, like.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the more vulnerable deck in tier 1, even though it's still very, very good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's probably the one that has to pretend to play the game compared to the other two.
Pretend is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, pretend is crazy.
No, it's true, because those other two decks are not playing the game.
They're not. They're really not, yeah.
They don't even
the other two decks is just like, I'm going to beat you and then like run away, or I'm just going to OTK you.
Yeah.
Like, my deck actually, like, probably sometime I have to try to interact with Boar against some deck, and then like it's set up like, one Tamer that can get removed, so it actually has to play the game. Even though it's like it's a degenerate OTK deck, but it still has to care about board state compared to the other two deck.
All right, so Deusmon, one of the new Aptly decks. Jaxi, I know you have been playing this deck, or tried at least. How do you feel about this deck?
Tried is the right way to put it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Deusmon, however you call it. He looks so cool. Appmon has a lot of cool cards. They just don't believe in synergy. It like goes against their religion. So this is definitely a tier 4 deck. Unfortunately, it just does not.
Or tier 5? Like, let's hold up.
Tier 4. It can win a locals. It has some lethal lines. It's just too inefficient.
It has very cool plays that you can carry.
Yeah, because you also get some new cards from the new set. The new blue option is really good. You can app fusion mid battle to get more checks and to do more damage.
Okay.
And sometimes the how do you say, during your opponent interaction, like if they try to remove you, you trash and pop, is enough just to win locals. To be honest, you're gonna catch a lot of people off guard with that.
So I'm a bargain with you a little bit here. If this is a tier 4 deck, there's a certain deck you do not like that I think is equally as good, if not better than that deck. And it rhymes with knees. So if this is a tier 4 deck, then that deck is tier 4. That's my bargain.
Yeah, they're both tier 4, bro. They're both bad.
Okay, you know what? You said knees was in tier 5 last time we talked about this.
It should be. I mean, like, but I don't know if you want to have the conversation here. I mean, your deck does nothing. Like, just nothing.
Your deck does nothing. Wait.
I have a towers. I have a towers that interacts on my opponent's turn and does damage. Your deck just does nothing.
It's an OTK. It's an OTK.
Yeah. Okay. OTK that loses to a blocker. Like, what are we talking about?
Whoa! It bounces. It bounces.
Oh yeah. No, okay.
All right. Listen. Are we handshaking tier 4? Or are we handshaking tier 5?
Let's handshake tier 5. I'm down.
I'm down.
These deserve nothing.
No. Knees. We're not there yet.
Oh, okay. Knees deserve nothing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next shortcoming when we get there.
Yeah, my fault.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, Deusmon, right? This is one of the decks I saw a lot of people, and by people I mean Zachon players, and a certain friend of ours, Weenie, get really excited about, right?
Yeah.
When I asked him, I was very like straight up. I was like, "Where do you think this deck places?" Right? Because like this deck has no results. I see like only the cult members talk about this, right? And I said, where do you place this? And he goes, bro, as long as Magnetic Dramon is in the format, it's tier 5. And he was like, if a deck can go wider than a single stack, it's tier 5. And I was like, all right. I mean, like, say less, dude.
It is also even worse now with both Gallant and Hoodie having access to cards that screw purple over.
Yeah. It's crazy to be digivolving for 5 still. I'll just say it. Like, let him out, Bandai. Let it, like, just give him a 3-cost Evo rookie. Like,
you evolve, you pass over 5 to Hoodie, and they go to like 8 memory, and then you just sit there and prepare to shake their hand.
Yeah, like it's just not like they're just not playing the same game as anyone else. God forbid you play an Emperor against them. It's like,
oh
GG's.
yeah, like, that's actually like wrap it up,
dude. So there's nothing to talk about.
This deck is just this deck is just living on hard mode. Like its effect is simply not good enough to be passing 5 memory on every play. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
All right, we have BL's next. I know this is a deck. It doesn't have any results, I believe, at least in English. It might have results like at least in North America, right? I don't know if it has results overseas. It did top an Asia event. I think it was like a DC one. I think it like actually won the DC one, if I remember correctly, or something crazy like that.
So for disclosure, I try to play this deck. Is okay. It's very, very okay, because despite all of its problem, it still have access to BL's X. And BL's X is still a best up card, so it has that going for it. But other than that, I don't think it has gotten significantly better with the new line. Like, it's fine, but like if you read all the new support, right? Like they're just like they're like side grade to a lot of the stuff you have. They're nothing insane, and none of it necessarily speed up the deck either. The hit to EX2 still significantly hurt them in terms of speed. So this deck is just like very one-dimensional, and it doesn't, it's fine.
I think it's a little better than that. I'd probably put it in tier 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty close, to be honest.
Wait, I said it was fine. I didn't say it was bad.
I think it's very close to like being a deck that tops a lot. It's still.
It has good tool. It has good cards.
It has access to DDG, right?
Yeah, but like
it needs more follow up. It needs better follow up. If you get caught on a downturn, the deck is just really subpar.
Yeah, it doesn't have good recovery and it's fragile, so you're very reliant on that one turn to go really well. And if you're missing pieces or something, you get punished really hard. Plus, this card's an ace, so you get punished even harder now.
Well, it's also well. Speaking of the ace property, right? It can ace over Impmon, which I think is really cool. No other deck, to my knowledge at least, has the ability to ace over a level 3, right? So you have the deck floats into 5s, right? The Ballmons, or the ball floats into BL specifically. Actually, let me correct myself. So you have like a board of like ball plus imp, and like, I mean, that's pretty cool, right? If you kill the ball or you remove it, then like it floats into BLs, and then but I mean,
sometimes they can get wide enough where they have 2 imps and then 2 balls or a ball, and it's like you have to get rid of all 3 targets to play around the ace. Otherwise, you just can't swing, and that's pretty good. I truly think the deck's not too far off between Bill's X and this new ace.
Yeah.
But you'll notice all the top decks have just incredible follow-up. There's almost never a downturn for them. And because of that, it's, if you get caught on a downturn, you're going to lose your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to correct you because someone in the comment will, but the bond aces. Ace
I didn't want to say
right.
it,
I forgot. My bad. I forgot. First of all, Agumon Ace does not exist. Like, let's just be real. That card is fake.
He doesn't know ball, chat. He doesn't know ball.
I don't. Gabumon Ace is actually a real card. I'll give it that. That's fair. Okay. Gamma. Zero. I know you played this deck a lot. This was. I mean, it's honestly a really, really cool deck. You played it to me at locals. It was super fun. Where do you kind of look at this deck?
Is probably in tier 4. If I think it probably has potential to be tier 3, but I don't know if it's just a deck that people will spend time investing in. Also, it's purple, so it's gonna suffer from all the other stuff that purple decks are suffering from right now in terms of like floating and stuff like that. But the cool thing about this build in particular, and this is the reason Regulus is on this is because you don't actually play level 6 in this build. Your top end is Regulus, and the way you play it is you just do your you have strongest of brothers and just move out and you evolve into this for free, and then it does like 4 checks if you have the promo tamer that give you an extra security checks. And then you also play stuff like Aguni, the hero Aguni, and you play the hero Arrestor, which let you like lethal. So it has very cool tool. It cheat like a significant amount of memory, but I think the issue with it right now is that it's very reliant on seeing very specific card. And what I mean by that is like you need to see your purple Gamma to cheat out Tamer. You need to see your BT23 hero because that card give you insane amount of memory in card draw. And like you need to see like strongest of brother, right? Like if you're missing like those pieces, the deck is significantly weaker. So it's almost there. It really needs like one more wave of like really good support, but I don't, and maybe that comes in the set we get in March.
Yeah.
But right now it's tier 4.
And so one really cool thing I do think is like, and I didn't know about this until it happened to me. You swing security, and like if you hit the Ghoulish Gamma, I forget which set it's from, but like it's the one that has a security effect. It plays itself out, right? And then on the play, it tucks a card, which pops to level 4, by the way. So I swung Hoodie, I hit that Ghoulish, and it popped my Hoodie, and I said, "Oh shit, dude." And then he triggers Strongest of Brothers because it's an all turn. I didn't know that, but apparently it's an all turns. And then he goes into Regulus on my turn, pops my other stack, and I just go, I just lost a Gamma. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, not a knower.
I wasn't. I didn't know ball. I did not know ball. So that's a pretty cool interaction. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Okay. APOC. This is one of those decks where like you look at it and you're just like, oh, dude, this. Okay. Let me correct myself. I think it's cool. I think APOC is cool, right?
Just you.
It really is just me. I think APOC is cool. I stayed up until like 3 a.m. One evening thinking about APOC, and I went to bed very disappointed about APOC.
Yep. Everyone else.
The deck, it's like, okay. I think it's a cool gimmick. You play out the 5, you cheat out the 6, they go to security, whatever, and you try to get out all 4 of them, and you rush them down with APOC. That's really cool. Do you know how hard it is to actually lethal off of that? It's a lot harder than you'd imagine. Because not only is your opponent probably swinging at your security, and like you're like, oh yeah, dude, they hit my Dark Master and I play out a 5 or whatever, and then I threaten ace. Like that's so cool. And then you like realize it's like a nothing burger, and it's just terrible. So yeah, we're going to tier 5.
Yeah, when I read this card, I realized they are punishing it for all the sins it committed for like 3 format in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tier 0 deck. It was disgusting. It single-handedly almost killed the Digimon card game, honestly.
Yep, they were extremely careful with how they designed this deck this time around. It has like, none of the new cards even work that well with the old support. No. So it like they literally made sure that deck cannot come back in any capacity. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have BlackWarGreymon, whatever you want to call it. It's Metal Gray Talk, right? That's why Metal Gray is the boss card, because that really is the best card from that set, if I'm being real. Jaxie, I know you played this deck a little bit. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, so this is a tier 4 deck.
Okay.
Now, I will say, I think this deck has high potential to be rogue or get tier 2 if someone can solve the top end. Because right now, like the deck, you only run 2 BlackWarg Aces, and then your other 4 or 5 slots for level 6s, they all kind of suck, to be frank. But you probably have a really good Hoodie matchup, because you're DP minus immune, DGG immune, you can pop a lot of tamers, and this is the one deck that can clear, 3 to 4 tamers in a good turn. And so that you can't taunt them. You also have a pretty decent Gallant matchup if you get the right setup, just because BlackWarg Ace can just be immune to Gallant at all times. And so it's culpable. Now that said, it's still a local deck on average. It's I think a really good player is going to have to like spend their whole life trying to like make this deck perform. I think on average it's probably not that consistent. It has a terrible rocks matchup and has some really bad rogue matchups. Like it'll do really well in the Hoodie, and then next round you go against, you know, Deusmon and you're getting your cheeks clapped. So it's kind of the pendulum in that aspect. So I wouldn't put it more than tier 4.
So,
but it's my dark horse. Dark horse.
So I have a question, right? With the introduction of the new Gallantmon, right, being that it is less than 13k, does that allow Gallant to actually clear the stack, the BlackWarGreymon staff, right? Because you mentioned like they aren't able to clear it because they're constantly like a 13k or above, but new Gallant isn't, right?
Sure, but we also just have protection against pop,
which is fair. Yeah, that part is valid.
Yeah, so it's so it's not easy. It's definitely, I mean, it's highly Gallant favored, but like you can hold a, like I've had situations where I've held a Gallant X hostage. It just got on board and I didn't clear it, but they could not kill me, so I just won the game off that. And you burn 2-3 checks, and then next turn you just go for lethal with the Omni X and you're all set. So it's not impossible. You can make it consistent. Usually the issue is if you build for that, Rocks just cooks you right now. Rocks is an impossible matchup. And like I said, you just randomly lose to Deusmon. Like I can deal with, you know, Gallant. I can't deal with 23k, 24k. Like, you know, like it's like, all right, bro, you got it. You got it, bro. Like, you know, so once again, it is copium, but you know, I think there's some potential just for how the format shakes out that it could find some tops.
And then like in regard to the tamer removal that you mentioned, I know BlackWarg Ace pops 1. The rest of it's like from Hades, right? More or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which right now there's no reason to run Hades, but if Hoodie is that dominant, we just slot that thing in, and you know, if you have a good Hoodie matchup, you know, it's, you know, hard to call you bad in a lot of ways. So.
Yeah. Okay, and then we'll go into Bogra. Obviously, this deck has no results in English whatsoever, but for whatever reason, it actually has a lot of Asia results. I don't know why that is, but I actually am a Bogra believer, right? Believer is a strong word, but I like Bogra a lot. I think it's a really nifty deck with the fact that it has a turn skip built into it, and it plays the War of Attrition very well. That being said, with the amount of tamer hate that's probably going to be coming for Hoodie, Bogra kind of gets hit in the crossfire. And Bogra, unfortunately, is not Hoodie, so it's going to actually lose to the tamer hate. And so as a result, I think it's probably going to be a tier 4 deck. Yeah, if in the current EX10 format, I actually think it's pretty good. Like I would argue, based on like how well it does in Asia, you can make an argument it's tier 3. Not in America or English, whatever, but going into this upcoming format, I think it is tier 4, just because the tamer hate will be in abundance, I feel like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
And then we do have Myotis. So Myotis is a deck where I've actually seen a lot of hype behind this deck. I myself have not had the luxury, if you will, to play too much into the new iteration of Myotis. I still remember old Myotis loop, or not even Myotis, but it was Mummy loop, actually. And that was a pretty good deck, actually. But this new Myotismon with the Mallow and everything, which I think burns and bot decks a card and everything, which is pretty good. What do you guys think about it?
I have not seen anything to be too impressed by, frankly.
I mean, I play into it a little bit, so I can give some context from what I play into it. The deck without the loop seems okay. Like, it have access to some very cool tool for purple deck. Like, it has bot deck, it has stun, which is like traditionally a lot of purple deck does not have that kind of stuff. So they're like deletion primarily, and if they don't do some degenerate like loop combo, you can't really play around a bunch of different stuff, right? This deck is very cool for that reason. It can do some like really interesting play, but it does seem like you're very reliant on seeing some specific piece like the dual tamer and so on to do some of your big plays. Other than that, The loop is, yeah, I mean, it's just a loop deck, and if it goes off, then yeah, but I don't know how relevant that is when we're gonna have like Gallant in the meta.
Yeah, my biggest
Yeah, six
concern.
memory loop.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, six memory loop is just not very good. I'll just be honest.
My biggest concern is with BT23 Gallant being in the format. I think it's just hard to play any purple deck. Like I feel like almost every purple deck kind of gets knocked down a peg because of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like for me, like it's just kind of like here. Like it's probably better than a fair amount of these. Granted, you're not pairing into Gallant, but from a competitive standpoint, it's kind of hard to dodge Gallant, right?
Yeah.
It has a very solid rock matchup, mostly because like the thing about rock is like they digivolve you and then get rid of effect, right? But they have like Myotis can set up like very annoying blocker that will float into the new Malo and then bot deck your stack, which play around fragment.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll give it that.
Yeah, but you will definitely get rolled by Gallant, and you will probably get rolled by Hoodie.
All right. Royal Knights. This I feel like is probably the most divided I've seen in as far as like decks recently. You have some people claiming it to be like the new like Messiah deck. You know, it's gonna be like this crazy tier 1 deck. Yggdrasil replaces Purge, so it's gonna be really good. And then you have other people that are like, it's you know, like, I know we tested it a little bit the other night, and I know Jaxie is a pretty darn good Royal Knights player, if I must say so myself.
Sir.
Yeah, yes sir. I think the biggest issue for Royal Knights for me is the Purge hit is a lot more serious than I think people give it credit, right?
Yeah.
Not being able to safe load certain like Royal Knights is like actually really like annoying. Not being able to safe load like Leopard, for example, from 13, or even the new Examon if you wanted to run that, or safe loading an AO, I think it's pretty significant, right?
Yeah.
I think people that are saying like, oh yeah, Yggdrasil just replaces Purge, not really. I mean, like,
No,
sure,
not even close. Like, not even remotely close.
like sure you get the whole like, oh, I'm gonna accelerate my stack by like 1 turn, and I threaten like removal, like raid, blocker, reboot, yada yada yada. I mean, that part's cool and everything. I'm not knocking it, but I'm knocking the fact that like it's not a Purge replacement, because Purge being able to safe load anything is actually broken, you know?
Yeah. I thought
and
this deck was
Purge plays out of body for free. Like you just don't get that same value out of Purge. Sorry, James.
Yeah, no problem. I was gonna say that the fact that Push let you play our body and then you can play another body on top of that, let you create a ton of combos, right? Like I think if you still have 4 Push, the new Deusmon would actually be busted in the deck, but because you don't, it's a lot weaker.
Examon will be busted. The new Deusmon will be really good. So that card is bait. The Yggdrasil is like a 1 of, maybe 2 of at most. Me personally, I think it's a 1 of. That said, this deck did get a lot of really good tools from Gallant. Gallant solves a lot of the purple matchups, and so not solves, but like Royal Knights had like. Yeah, Royal Knights had a terrible purple gauntlet. Like, it was just... You just could not compete with all of them unless, like, maybe Demon Lords consistently. But now that you're just able to say, hey, you're not playing the game this turn, you can really buy a lot of tempo with that. Craniumon's, like, broken. I love that card. And so being able to stick on board and protect your Tamers, I think is going to go a long way. So I think this deck is really, really good. That said, I think it's the resident gatekeeper of the format.
Yeah. For me, and I do agree. For me, I think this is like a tier, like probably the peak of tier 2, right? That's kind of like where I see it. What my biggest gripe with Royal Knights is gonna be is like, I think the Hoodie matchup is rough. Like it's really rough because like historically Royal Knights as a deck, it's like if the tamer focused decks like Crossheart, for example, are a very difficult matchup because like well, how do you interact with it, right? In a world where you had Purge at 4 and then you can go Examon, like, sure, okay, yeah, you're that guy, right? You're that dog. But we're not in that world. That's make-believe land. You know, we have Purge at 1, and you're probably running Examon at 1. So if you hit that combo, like, congrats, you're him. But we're probably not hitting that, and so Hoodie being able to just like field 4 tamers, hide their stuff, and then it's like they're gonna come out swinging. They're gonna swing like 3 checks, like they have barrier built into their stuff if they really wanted to. Swinging 15, whatever. Like if they hit an Omniax, like cool, right? But that being said, I think Hoodie is just such like a matchup. It probably knocks Arcade down to tier 2, like in my opinion, at least, right?
I think your Gallant matchup is not great.
Is still pretty tough.
Yeah. I was like, my initial impression of this deck was I thought it was tier 1, and then I actually play into it, and I'm like, it's no longer tier 1.
Yeah. So you probably have a good Rocks matchup. So, you know, I definitely think we'll see a lot of tops and a lot, like, we'll see this deck perform. Whether or not, it's still, to this day, I don't think RK has won an event here in the States or in OCE. I don't know about Europe or Asia, but I know that despite all the hype that RK gets, it is yet to be the big winner or the bride of any event. Yeah. So I don't know if it'll ever really convert like that, because let's be real, if RK really is that impressive, it's pretty easy to counter.
Yeah. There are 2 things I think RK does have going for it. One of which, it got Digital Gate open, which I think is a pretty good card for that deck, because now you can free play Cool Boy as well as like a search top 3 Grab a Tamer plus Digi. So it's like, in a way, it's like an extra Last Guardian, if you will, in terms of like consistency value. And then free playing Cool Boy for like your combo plays, like it's just, I mean, like you really can't complain about that, right? And this is also probably one of the best Emperor abusers, Digimon Emperors, in the format, right? Digimon Emperor, I think, is pretty good overall. There's a lot of decks that want to play off of their level 3 and move up. For example, Hoodie is one of those decks. Granted, Hoodie does have counterplay to it. Like, they could, for example, if they have the CS rookie, they're able to just, like, Evo, like, a 4 and back, move up, and then, like, de-Digivolve, and then Evo Hoodie after that. But still, if you, like, force them to have the CS rookie, that's not too shabby, right? Especially with Emperor, since it is a white card, you can play that for free off of DGO as well. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're done with the EX10 and talking about Royal Knights, because right, that's probably like the biggest like divide we'll see in the community. We're going into the BT23 decks. These are decks that got some pretty big stuff from the set. We have Zachon.
Yeah, you see that tier 5? Yeah, scroll down. I don't know if there's like, if you can make something a little lower.
I got it, dude. I got it.
Yeah. That's where this deck belongs. This deck got one cool card, and that was it. They did not care about this deck. This deck is garbage. This deck is
you
garbage.
You guys know that the line in Zachon don't have Zachon trait.
Yep.
The 6s do.
Like,
the 6s do.
The 6s do,
Yeah.
but like the 5 and below do not. That's how much they care about this deck.
Did you know Waspmon, despite being the free play tamer, does not free play Zachon?
Yep. This is called pack filler.
They did everything they could to absolutely neuter this deck. Like, I think the machine is cool. The machine is cool. It copies an effect from security, and that's like, whoa, that's like super neat. And then you realize nothing else works.
Yeah, like, to play this deck, you realistically have to play like CS bot end, but then the top end is these cards, and it's just like, why?
At that point, just play CS, you know?
Yeah, you just play CS with any other top end that you got, this set or the last set. Like, this deck is probably legit worse than CS from 22. From 22.
Oh, worse than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bad. It's definitely worse than that.
Like, I'm pretty sure you'd have a better time playing BT3 Fast Omni than Zachon. Like, the bar is pretty fucking low, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zachon's terrible. Grand Drac. Wow, I'm surprised how many people are hyped about this deck. I guess people really just like reanimator decks. But as we've previously mentioned, if you are a purple deck in BT23, you're probably not going to have a great time.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Yeah, I wanted this deck to be so cool, man. Grandrak's probably my favorite purple card and purple Digimon. Virus Digimon in general. But yeah, this deck is it's worse than every other purple deck right now. And so I don't
Rain Jack
see
is cool. Rain Jack itself is a cool card, like very neat effect. But yeah,
Yeah. It has no offense. So it's like it's cool. It digivolves it like, it feels like you're playing the game and then you realize you didn't do any damage and your opponent just kills you. So
I mean, some people like that. They're like role playing.
yeah, so it's kind of some more support in the future. This is a good step, though. This is a good step. It was better than the BT9 support we got. That's
bad.
criminal.
That was bad.
Yeah, that set us back ages. So we're just now catching up.
All right. Did you have a comment you wanted to make about Grandrak Zero?
no,
Okay.
I said what I said.
Great talk. Okay, CS. So there are a couple of different versions of CS. I guess we can talk about both of them like just next to each other. There is CS, and then there's Maste CS, right? These kind of like play a little bit differently. One is like trying to murder you, and the other one's trying to murder you, but not with like a grenade launcher, you know? So I guess I think we probably should talk about Maste CS first. To be honest, this is probably the more relevant of the two. Right?
Yeah.
So
basically, the way to understand this deck is there's a lot of way to build it, but the goal is for you to DNA into the new Maste, which play a body, burn your opponent to 3, and then you swing with alliance, put them to 1, and then you use the level 3 inherit to self digivolve, and then you DNA into Promo Maste and you swing for lethal because they burn 1. And that's the basic lethal line. However you get there is however you get there. But that's the idea of the deck, and it's pretty good. Like it's like what, 2 extra piece compared to an average stack deck to get that combo off. So not very demanding. The only caveat is that Promo Maste is not CS. So you can't grab it off your deck, but you do draw a decent amount of cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big CS believer, pure CS. I'm also still waiting to get the cards for CS Maste because I like Maste. So if I can merge the decks, I think that'd be really cool. I think this is probably the deck with the most potential. I think everyone reads it, and CS just has such a deep card pool and so many cards where you're like, well, this just has to be good. That at some point, it's just a matter of like, how do we put it together? That said, it's probably tier 3. It's probably not better than any of the tier 2 or tier 1 decks. And I think until like a really established list or cook has been developed, like with Adventure, this deck isn't gonna find a lot of success. But if you're like me, and I know that there's a lot of people like me that are CS copers, I know that we're in the lab just trying to figure out what combination of cards work. Is it Maste?
I think the other CS is probably tier 3 too, because even if you don't play the Maste engine, you have access to really strong cards now, like Crania. You can play Maste. You can play Maste without the DNA engine because you can just go into it. Like you can go into like Crania and sit there against a lot of deck, and they can't remove you. And next turn, you just like the Digivolve. Evolve into another Maste, then use army effect to go into like an Exa, and that's like a super strong play you can do.
Yeah, this deck needs 2 things. It needs it needs the Galaxy level 4s because we just need more cards to draw, and then it just needs like a Hexablow or something that gets rid of a Tamer. And I think this deck is like for sure tier 2, probably tier 1. But for the time being, I think people are going to try to figure out the cook. Examon's broken, so that's a big help. But to compete with Hoodie and to compete with Gallant, we need a little bit more.
Yeah, and we see a lot of people talk about the Maste CS, right? Where it's like, oh, this deck is like killing turn 2. It's like super fast, super strong, right? So I think we'll see some people talk, like, probably calling us crazy for putting it in tier 3, to be honest. but we've played it for a couple days now, right? And like previously mentioned, there's not an established build because like you can go like a lot heavier on the CS end of things. You can go into the Mirai package, a lot of different directions you can go with it. But for the most part, across the few days we've been testing it, it's been losing to Hoodie, consistently. Because I mean, if you're not dead, right? If you're just making like your average Moste board or whatever, Hoodie is pretty good about breaking it, right?
Yeah. Well, the big thing is that you still cannot, like I said, you cannot search the promo master, and that's a core component of the OTK.
Mhm.
So, you will, for you to hit turn 2 OTK, you basically just have to open it and then see everything else. Otherwise, yeah, you're probably not killing super fast, and the board is not the hardest thing to break. Like you have partition, but then Hoodie can digivolve you and etc. So
Yeah.
it's not the hardest deck to break. I mean, it's overall still really solid. Like I think the deck is like strong enough to like bully everything in like tier 3 and below, and probably competitive into like the tier 2 decks. So remains to be seen how popular it is. I think one thing that we've seen historically is that Muste has never been like a super popular deck, even when it's like really good, right? I think that's probably due to how complex it can be to build and play, and then how the ratio is pretty scuff in general. And this deck doesn't have that issue because you're practically like 90% CS, right? So it's a lot easier to play. Like you just evolve up and do your stuff. So I can see this deck being more popular than like a standard Master variant.
Well, I don't know if I completely agree with that. I think traditional Master is actually probably better than this. I think traditional Master probably has how do I say this?
No,
I think the highest upside potential in this format. I think that it's a little slow. I'll give you that. That's about the only thing I'll give, though. It has incredible removal, incredible sustainability, can play from nothing. And so I do think it's just a speed factor, which just really depends on how many Marays you can get down and how quickly you can get them down comfortably.
Yeah.
So I would still put it in tier 3. I'd probably put it at the top of tier 3, just traditional Maste. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it top a couple times. Maybe there's a price issue because EX6 Mass Mirai is maybe expensive.
Promo Moste is
But I
expensive.
definitely
Secret Moste is expensive.
Well, I mean, you have to pay.
Master players are believers, man. I mean, back in BT8, the best format of all time, there's no shortage of Master. So,
Well,
the people that play Master are usually really good with it. So,
this list has to play promo Master also, so it's still like kind of expensive. But my point isn't that CS Master is better than regular Master. I just think it's significantly easier to play and build, so it might be more popular for that reason alone.
that's fair.
Yeah, so I mean, we can just go ahead and we just toss in Moste in, right? It's like in this kind of like pile, right?
I didn't realize you put a separate thing. My fault.
No, it's chill, it's chill. Yeah. So, do we have any other comments about Moste before we move on?
No.
All right, cool. Eaters was a joke in 22. It was not even a funny joke. In 23, it got some new stuff, and is it at least a funny joke in 23?
Still not laughing. It's that pack filler stuff. I can't respect it.
I think the cars themselves it got is like a pretty good. Like Eat a Bit, good car. I think both Legion and Eden are good car, but the issue is that your win con is still pretty terrible. Like your win con is spawning 4 big bodies and do what?
I mean,
that's it.
Come on, dude. They all have 15k. Like they're kind of cool with it, no? Like,
yeah, like it's neat. It can like do some stuff, but the deck is just, I don't know. The only variant of the villain deck that became really good or competitive was
Mother Reaper? Yeah, D Reaper.
Yeah, Mother Reaper. Yeah, like every other villain non-Digimon archetype they build has always suffered from the same problem. and this deck doesn't, break that mold.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I mean, it's cool. It's very flavorful.
Yeah, I got nothing nice to say.
Yeah. Doulahanmon, aka Necromon, aka Ghostmon. So like.
Yeah, imagine not being rocks. Like that's all. Just imagine just being another female character and just not receiving what rocks got. I just don't get it. It's so disrespectful.
I mean, you're a Liberator deck that didn't get the same treatment as rocks, but you also happen to be purple in a format with BT23 Gallant.
Yeah, they just don't like you.
So
they slid you in there.
Like, can we talk about how? Can we compare level 5? Can we compare the freaking Phantomon that this deck got, and then go and compare that to the level 5 that Rock got? Like, what the heck? Why is there such a disparity?
Yeah, Gammamon.
Let's be real. The level 7 for this deck is ruin mode. They got it right in the manga. All right, like
That's
this
true.
is not.
That is true.
This is not. That's not what they really wanted with this deck. All right, like this deck is just not it.
Yeah. I don't like the level 7 for this deck at all. To be honest.
At all. Plus 5k and acting like that's a buff is crazy. It's just wild. We're giving BT1 effects. I can't.
Listen, dude, plus 5k is just worse than minus 5k. Like,
wait,
right?
guys, it's not even plus 5k. It's only plus 5k when you don't delete.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, that's not. I can't.
Yeah,
so, like,
I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Ghost players. Y'all deserved better.
Like, it needs. The effect themselves are so awkward because of the way execute work. Because like execute is Anatone swing into something, right? So if you delete your opponent Digimon, you don't execute.
Yeah,
Look,
I don't have anything for this.
We were testing it like really briefly. We were playing Royal Knights versus Ghosts, and we were just like, "Oh, dude, like let's see how this turns out." And then I went BT23 Gallant one turn, and then I happened to have a second one, so I played it again, and he just scooped. he like zero just scooped like immediately. He's like, "What am I supposed to do, bro? Like I literally had to have a play." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh wait, never mind. Execute can it doesn't have to attack Digimon."
Yeah, it can though. It can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that it can attack Digimon. I just forgot.
It's like Blitz that kills yourself.
Yeah. It's like very okay. Yeah.
All right. Dynast. Obviously, this deck didn't exist before this, and if it exists after this, I'd be kind of impressed. Dynast players swear they swear this new card is like the second coming of Jesus, which is crazy to me, because we went from nothing to like. Something's a strong word. We're probably a little bit above nothing.
It's like a board wipe, I guess.
It has a sec plus built into it.
Yeah, this card's solid. I don't know what the cook is for everything else though. I don't know what they're cooking.
Like the card itself is solid, right? The rest of it has an unsuspend and Misty, so it's a 4-check deck. And
I didn't even know this was a deck, quote unquote.
It has. It's somewhere built into it. Apparently, there's an OTK somewhere. I don't know where. If it exists, apparently. But saying that in the same sentence, in the same universe where Gallant exists, is like crazy to me. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Belfemon, right? The third purple SR from BT23, right? Because we really decided to give purple 3 SRs in the set with BT23 Gammamon. That's crazy to me. That's insane. I'm sorry. I really cannot take this seriously. Like it's so goofy, dude. Yeah, BT23.
No, even the funnier part that you didn't mention is the set right before this set was EX10.
Yeah.
So they literally printed a set that's like 50% purple.
No, not even 50, bro. Like 70, 75.
Yeah, definitely like 80.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of purple card. Let's put it that way. And they definitely printed a set with like mostly purple card, and then went, we should really print this Gallant to balance it out.
Dude.
The most, like the most.
Get a Gallant of all things.
Yeah, it is like the fact that the effect is on the Gallant is like the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen. Like it could have been on like a random car, but no, it's like, hey, what if we give the best deck in the format a floodgate that just screw over an entire color?
The year of Gallant goes on.
Yeah, but Belfie. So Belfie, I mean Belfie X is a good card, right? Like Belfie X is actually a good card. The new Belfie SR it got in EX10 is a good card, right? These are all
a good promo.
Fasco promo is also fantastic, right? So you'd think with all of this, the deck would actually be good, right? And it does have some actually pretty cool tools, right? The fact that you can, with Ostamon, you can revive I think it's Punkmon, and that has like blockers, and then the Gizmons have blocker, and you go like sleep mode, negate an attack, spawn a blocker, that blocks an attack, like that's cool and everything, right? But the deck's still kind of slow, right? So you're slow into Hoodie, which kind of sucks. And Gallant has Raid, you know, and that's like really spooky because obviously Belfie's immune until you get raided into, and when you're like, oh wait, but what if I just like negate the first attack and then spawn a blocker and then I block the second attack and they can't get me? Then BT23 Gallant is like, okay, you can't get the second blocker out, and you're just like, you're like, huh?
It's not even just that too. Like when you first, like, this is one of the earliest cards that they revealed for this set, and when you read this card, it's like, you know, this seems really good because it's basically like an Omni X on a level 6.
It seems
right?
broken, yeah.
Yeah, it seems broken. But like when you actually play the deck, and it's just like, huh, that's a lot that you need to do to get to a kill, because you're still relying on like the previous Belfie support.
New Belfie Rage does like swing 3 checks, which is pretty good, and then you just like go into the sleep mode afterward, and you threaten lethal pretty consistently, right? And new Karada also lets you like do some like bullshit, but I don't know. I think just virtue of being a purple deck is like really rough out here these days, to be honest.
Well, you're an OTK deck that needs to wait a turn to OTK. That's the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is that the new Belfie doesn't actually get its effect to the start of turn. So like you like sit on the freaking sleep mode and like hope your opponent can't play through your once per turn interaction.
Yeah. So like I mean like I think it's better than like it's probably like a pretty competent tier 4 deck to be fair, right? Like it's good support.
I think it's better than all the other purple decks beneath it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, but good, moving on. Poseidonmon. It's an app.
Put that in tier 5. Yeah, put that in tier 5.
It's an app deck. Like moving on,
I'll
right?
put it lower.
Wait,
no.
okay.
Lower. Okay.
Don't put it next to my guy Deusmon.
You're right.
Wait. No, in this deck.
No.
In this deck defense, it can actually OTK.
It does have an actual OTK, yeah.
And it's not like a super hard OTK either. You just go up the line and then you end on Omni X. Like it's not hard.
True. That is true.
And the cards, a lot of the cards they got this set is actually like very solid. It's just that the issue is that you're still an app deck, so you're plagued by being an app deck.
Oh no. We shook hands. We shook hands. It somewhere there's an OTK line. For what it's worth, the new promo Justy actually is pretty good. For what that's worth, that actually is a good card. New promo Justy prevents your opponent's Digimon from digivolving. So basically what ends up happening is like you eat it's whenever an option a delay is trash, by the way, which is pretty good. So if they go training into a 4 and you go new promo Justy, you can't digivolve anymore. You're stuck at that level. That's pretty good, honestly. To be fair, that's actually pretty good. Honestly, fuck it, bro. It's better than Bees. I mean, it definitely is better than Bees. Whatever. Tier 5 is tier 5, dude. It don't matter.
No. Put it to tier 4 because of the Time Stranger video.
True.
You know. I got it.
James is right. And the knowers who got this far, they'll know. Because it moved all of our hearts.
It really did, dude. It really did. All right.
The hero.
Yeah, dude. He deserves it. He deserves it. Okay. Levia, right?
Tier 0, let's go.
Yeah, OP. Yeah, let's go. Anyway,
Put up Hoodie.
dude, this Levia has remained the exact same 50 for 2 years. For 2 years. And Donkey Nog qualified for Worlds 2 years in a row. My guy.
Did he use the exact same list?
No, it was not in the exact same list, but it was pretty close.
it would have been a good bit just to put his video of his top from last year and just repaste it with 2025.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I do think the format is a lot worse for Levia than previous years. Yeah. It has a not great Gallant matchup, and the Rocks matchup is hard, and BT23 Gallant exists. So as a purple deck, by that logic, it goes down a tier. So I mean, like, we went from tier 1, and then, like, it goes to tier 2 in my opinion, because it has a really good Hoodie matchup actually. So,
yeah, I was gonna say it clap Hoodie. So
yeah, it's max Hoodie. It eats Hoodie. So
yeah, maxes it out.
Yeah, it balances out, you know. But I swear, dude, Donkey Nog is the only player that tops with his deck. Nobody else plays this deck. He just really likes crocodiles, dude. We went to the zoo together, and like every time there's a crocodile, we just went, oh, dude, look, there's a Leviathan. So that was sick. Okay.
Yeah, I actually I'm pretty sure I went through his zone, and nobody else has stopped with this deck. It's so
yeah,
funny.
Dude, it's like he is literally Levia's biggest fan. Like,
well, people are putting it in like Growlmon, but
that's true. Yeah, they are putting it in Growlmon, but that's not Levia. That's different.
Yeah, that's not Levia.
That's different. So. Okay. Imperial. BG Imperial. A deck historically randomly keeps topping because, like, from a fundamental perspective, it's just good.
Yeah.
Like, the backbone is good, you know?
Yeah.
But we have in call with us, a big Imperial believer, right? In Jaxi. Is not Dan Vang, right? Dan's in Japan right now, actually, living life. Unlike us plebs, so. No, he's having fun.
Wait, I'm going soon.
Okay, are you there right now? No, you're stuck here recording a tier list video with us.
True. Loser.
Why am I even here?
why am I here just to suffer? But yeah, so Jaxi, how do we feel about Imperial?
Yeah, the Heroes deck is definitely tier 3. It's gotten nothing. There's no reason for this deck to be doing any better than what it already does. There's way more D-Digi, so it's kind of like you'll catch someone slipping. You'll probably cook your locals, just because the deck's just so good. But you'll probably see one top at most.
It's one of those decks where sometimes it just go on face win the game. Like that's just how it is.
The high roll is just crazy, and it's sometimes inconsistent, but not that inconsistent. So
it's probably the most consistent Joker deck.
Yeah.
That and Omni.
Daiken goes crazy, dude. Daiken goes absolutely crazy.
Is Omni more?
You're not winning the game.
Is the Omni more consistent than this?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, Omni's probably getting off. Dude, I think DGO is such a big buff to Omni, but we'll get to
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. Growl. So we have Growl Loop, and then you have Growl Birds, which like we've separated, right? Growl Loop is still a really, really good deck, to be honest. We talked about it with Rusty, who is the person that created the initial Growl Loop, the one that was like terrorizing everyone. Disgusting deck, absolutely deplorable. And even with Rush Geel getting hit to 1, it turns out when you find the 1 Rush Geel, you kind of just loop it over and over and over again. Which is really gross. And the fact that like you still have so many plays even without the Rush Geel, because you're just a degenerate aggro deck, is pretty gross. I'm not gonna lie. I think he said he went like 11-1 across like multiple locals or whatever. He was cooking like everyone. He was cooking Hoodie. He was cooking Gallant. It's just like he was just like turn 3 lethal like pretty consistently, right? Deck is good. It's still seeing a lot of success here in English format. It did really well at NA Nationals. It's doing well at the regional level. It's just a deck that has performed really great. That being said, the Gallant hit is You know, it's not gonna Gallant is, so sorry. BT23 Gallant does exist, which does hurt you just a little bit, I would say, because obviously you can't recur off like Growl X and stuff like that. But what do you guys think about this?
I think overall it's still like a good deck. I just don't know if I put it in tier 1 anymore.
Yeah, it'd probably be bottom of tier 1 for me.
Yeah.
If not top of tier 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think objectively, it can still kill if you find all the right pieces. I think it's more subject to floodgates. And even though there's not a lot of floodgates right now, I feel like I've played a lot of Growlmon players and they just never look up and look at your board. So I truly think it's a Rusty diff. I think he's just cracked with it, which is totally fine.
Well, I mean, he built the deck,
Still
right?
topping, so, but I'd probably put it top of tier 2, if not bottom of tier 1.
I'm okay with like very top of tier 1. I mean, top of tier 2, and we'll choke it up. We'll cop it up to like Rusty diff.
The other thing is, I don't think actual Growl Loop has gotten a result recently.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, it's always like insert Growl deck.
It's usually Growlber. I think the issue with Growl Loop in particular is, yes, the deck can still work, but I think it's significantly harder to play now.
Yeah.
Before you get carried by the engine and having like just having 4 rush rookie that you can continue to flow into, mitigate any minor mistake that you could do. Now if you're making a mistake every time you try to loop, it's gonna rack up, and specifically you need to be able to play without seeing your rush skill, and I think it's significantly harder to play because of that. So I don't think it's tier 1. I probably tier 2 is. I think it's the fair spot.
Do we think it's better than Royal Knights?
I mean, it probably cooks Royal Knights still, to be honest.
It probably does, in fact, cook Royal Knights, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
I think the only caveat, like I said, the caveat is in the hand of a very good pilot. I can see the deck performing really well, but probably better than Royal Knight. But
once it got harder, a lot of people just stopped trying to play the deck.
I don't. I think everyone who played the deck just went to Gallant because Gallant is like Gallant is probably matching this deck in speed in terms of OTK, to be honest, and it's way easier to play.
True.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We have Magna. This is a deck that is a relic of the past at this point. It has not seen success in a very long time, but it's one of those decks where like newer players will complain about it because like on paper it's really obnoxious, right? Until like you like start to like realize like, oh, it's actually like a lot more vulnerable than like you'd imagine. Because the loss of blinding ray was very significant because it's a lot harder to trigger your own protection now. Yes, you have cards like Get Nice House or Island of Adventure and stuff like that, but those do cost memory, right? That's not a zero cost free proc. Not only that, but also aces are very annoying, so that's going for you. But I did see recently on Twitter, this deck actually is picking up a little bit of steam in the Asia scene right now, and we also did see Shane Tan recently top, actually. He got 2nd place, I believe. He lost to Magidra in the finals, and that was about like 2 or 3 formats ago with Magna X, so I think
it's like,
yeah,
it's okay, but funny enough, it randomly loses to like the app deck because they're all bigger. Like it doesn't get bigger than the app deck, which is really funny.
Yeah, I mean, this deck is a best of 1 menace, but I don't think it's better than locals. Yeah, tier 4 is exactly where I put it. So.
Yeah,
it's the poster child for tier 4.
Yep.
It's been there for like 6 format in a row and probably gonna be there for another 6 format.
But I mean, hey, that new Magna is pretty good though. Like, for what it's worth, that new Magna is actually pretty good.
Yeah, but it does nothing for the deck.
No, well, actually, I think I've seen quite a few Magna decks. The ones that were topping recently, they were on it, I believe. Just for like the additional like protection against like bounce and stuff, which like armor historically is like very bad into. So it kind of forces you to like play into the purge.
I guess maybe Armor Rush could get us.
Yeah, right.
I guess the big benefit.
Armor Rush has always been different to me.
Yeah.
The big benefit of this one versus the previous Royal Knight Magna is that it draw one immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really, really nice. Okay, Purple Hybrid. This is a deck that I think should have died out a long time ago, to be honest, but it's still around and it's still doing pretty solid. I know Rusty, I'm going to quote him on this, Purple Hybrid is just a worse Growl.
Yep.
Which is probably true.
And a worse Hoodie.
It is also a worse Hoodie, yeah. But that being said, people will still probably play Purple Hybrid, because it's just like a fan favorite, and like from a mechanic standpoint, Tamer looping style of decks are just really strong. Duskmon Velger is still a disgusting combo, but like I think realistically, we're probably not getting any better than tier 3, right?
It's I think it's fair to put it tier 3, especially because like if you look at the stuff that's been topping, it's just one random Purple Hybrid in like every single event.
Yeah. All right. Crossheart. So I'm a big Crossheart believer. For some reason, I decided to max rarity Crossheart on like a random Wednesday afternoon, and I don't know why I did it, dude. Do I regret it? No. Was it
how much? How much did it cost you? Like tens of dollars?
Okay, it was like a solid $30-$40 at the time. Okay, like
yeah, so tens of dollars.
Okay, listen, dude. Anyway, so Crossheart actually has a really interesting niche. I say interesting with like air quotation marks around it. It has a really good Gallant matchup, like a really good Gallant matchup.
True.
And it also has a good Royal Knights matchup. So those are two things that you do have going for you.
Oh, it's a decent Rocks matchup too.
It also, yeah, the Rocks matchup's okay. It's a little bit weird because of how like you interact with their fragment. Because then they de-digivolve the EX6, and then you're just kind of sitting there looking real sad about it. But Omni Shout looping is still pretty strong. I think the biggest caveat you're gonna run into is that like you are just a worse Hoodie.
Much worse.
You are a worse Hoodie with you just happen to have an insane Gallant matchup, right?
Yeah.
Because EX6 clears Gallant X like no issues whatsoever. And then if at any point they pop your EX6 stack, you just get all your pieces again, and then you just do it again the next turn because you have
thing
save.
We should probably point out is that there is a very real scenario where every Tamer reliant deck start getting grief.
Yeah,
like
because
just
of Hoodie.
randomly. Yeah, because Hoodie exists, everyone's gonna start taking in Tamer removal, and then every other Tamer reliant is gonna be like, collateral damage because of it.
Yeah, I mentioned that when we were talking about Bogra. I think just like as a byproduct, I think Crossheart gets hit because of it, which sucks because Crossheart's sick. Love Crossheart.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just if you are a Tamer deck as a byproduct, you're getting hit by this. Like even for Purple Hybrid, because of Hoodie, you're probably getting like have you ever played the V2 versus Purple Hybrid matchup? It's terrible. You're getting rocked. Maidmon is like never letting you breathe, like not even for a second.
Yeah, we're being very nice to those decks.
Yeah, like this Purple Hybrid, I think like what it has going for it that like the other decks don't as much. It's just like the engine itself is just like inherently like super strong, right?
Yeah.
Dusk Velger is just such a disgusting combo, like to this very day. That like I think that's like so single-handedly carrying it, Okay, Megidra. Megidra as a deck, it's fallen off a little bit with Rush Gale getting hit and stuff like that. And we don't see it as often anymore these days, but it's still topping every once in a while. It's still a deck that like puts out like 3 damage turn like 3 on average, I feel like. Like turn 2, turn 3, and then it's gonna float into like a bunch of bodies. Gallant existing, preventing you from floating is a little bit annoying, but at the same time, Megidra is actually pretty good into the Gallant X stack itself, because it's gonna do the pop after, like once the memory passes over, and then it'll take the memory back, right? So assuming you're not under the effect of BT23 Gallant, Megidra actually does pretty solid into Gallant X. So that's probably going to be like a 50-50 matchup at the end of the day. And then you're probably like a turn slower than Hoodie on average, which kind of sucks. So I mean, I think Megidra went from like being the fastest deck in the format to being like, in my opinion, probably tier 3, right? I think like somewhere around this ballpark.
I think it's probably in the same spot as Purple Hybrid, where like people still play it and it can top. but it's a lot weaker than before.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst variant of the Growl engine, but still Growl engine.
Yeah, for sure. All right. RPM.
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
No, I agree.
Yeah. RPM. RPM actually think has a really good niche in the format, being that it completely shuts down Hoodie if it sees the fighter mode combo, right? No, can't play Digimon, can't play Tamers by effect, right? That completely shuts down everything that Hoodie wants to do. And so RPM, assuming you hit the combo like turn 2, turn 3, is going to just win the match from that position, right? Because you're doing like what, like 4 checks probably on the initial like combo turn, and then after that they can't do anything to respond to your fighter mode, so assuming they don't have common hammer, right, then you just close out the game afterward. So that being said, I do think that the caveat being you have to hit the combo is obviously it's like a little bit iffy. It's just one of those decks where like if they hit it, then they're going off like crazy, but they kind of have to work for it a little bit. So I think RP Imp is in a very interesting position to be, but it's a deck that's seen consistent results, surprisingly, even like what, like a year later or something like that. So I think it's like in tier 2, if I'm being frank.
Yeah, I expect to see a resurgence, to be honest. I think it's a pretty decent pick. This format has a good arcade matchup, good Hoodie matchup.
Yeah.
Decent into some of the other decks. So, and it gatekeeps a lot of the tier 3 decks if you look at it. A lot of those decks like to float or to call. And if it just goes off, it says no and just puts you on the clock. So
Yeah. Alright. Ganku, right? This is the deck that both Jaxie and I took to Nationals. Jaxie is a far better pilot at the Ganku than I am, so I'll let him kind of, take reign on this one, right?
yeah, Genku is eating, man. This set was awesome. The Deusmon stuff is all just Genku support in disguise. That said, the biggest concern is 2 things. One, speed. Can we keep up with Hoodie? The option removal from Hoodie is annoying, but not terrible. Because usually Genku only has 2 cards in the stack, so if they Digi 4, you just go down to your 6. So you still threaten an ace, you're still fine there. The question is how consistently can we get to playing on turn 3? And then also, the second half of Ganku was really just a Floodgate deck, and Floodgates are really bad right now. So, is it worth playing Floodgates? I don't know. I'd probably still put the deck in tier 2. I think the new Jess, the new Huck, and the new Sistermons and their synergies with Medieval and everything else gives the deck a lot more explosive ceiling and a little better consistency since we have an additional searcher. So now we have 4 Garnets, 4 Hucks, and 4 Ukos. So that's a pretty significant boost. But I don't know. I don't know if I can guarantee that it's going to be able to consistently punch with the top decks. It cooks rocks, but Gallant and Hoodie is still probably going to be pretty hard. So
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about Hoodie, the Hoodie matchup, is that like we've seen a lot of lists running Venusmon now. And Venusmon would shut down the Genku X effect to give like the full immunity. So I can see that being a little bit annoying, right? They go like Hoodie, deal like all your security, and then go like top end Venus, and then it's like, what's your response next turn, you know?
yeah.
So that could be like probably a little bit annoying. And then I know Gallant, Dan was on this in his Nationals list. It was the Raid Takato, right? That makes it really hard to be Ganku. Yeah, that was terrible, dude. That sucked.
Yeah, you can Medieval the Hoodie. So once again, I think both those decks are still favored. But I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't started my Genku testing yet, mostly because nobody wants to play against me. But I think once I get some games in, I can get a better feel. But I still think the deck only got stronger. So I'd be very surprised if it slid into tier 3.
We don't have BT23 cards yet. We can't test against you.
No, y'all just hate me. It's all good. It's all good.
Like, you went to Loco and pick up all your stuff early. Like, I got like $1. What do you want from me?
That's what you're supposed to do, bro. The pre-release is really the release for us.
Full disclaimer, we've been testing on TTS. It's not that we haven't been testing, just FYI. It's just Gonku's cringe to play into. So
Well, no, he refuses.
Oh
to
yeah.
play
Also, he
TTS.
doesn't play TTS. So
Yeah, sucks. All right. I'll die on this hill.
anyway, adventure, right? This was my people's choice, right? This was like the deck. I won that regional with it. It was super sick. It was like first adventure top ever in the world. This deck sucks now. This deck is not good anymore.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm sad. This was my baby.
Dude, I'm very depressed about this.
Yeah, like Vincent Hayes and I made this list, and it was cracked for like one event.
It was.
Yeah, it really was.
Wait, hang on. It wasn't just one event. It did pretty well, like at the following events for a little bit too. To be fair.
It was like 2 weeks, and then Rusty made Growloop and got you boys out of there.
Yeah, Growlmon was a really hard matchup. Realistically, in this current format, I think Hoodie is a hard matchup. I think Gallant is an impossible matchup, if I'm being honest with you guys. RP Imp is hard. Levia is hard. The list kind of just goes on and on. I'm not gonna lie, it's rough out here. Like it's definitely better than like all these tier 5 bozos because Black Option is just a good card. And Black Option will definitely catch people lacking. And overall, Black Option is just really strong into a lot of random decks. But as far as like the top decks are concerned, bro, they're dog walking you.
Funny you mentioned Black Option because CS have the option just to place Justy as their top end to snipe your option too.
Yeah. And that plus all the extra tamer removal we're expecting in this format, this deck is.
Yeah, I can see like a Crania Justy deck just exist in the cock block a bunch of stuff from playing anything, and then they go into like Exa to snipe your tamer on top of that.
Listen, man. Come on. Anyway, Adventure is in a rough spot right now. I think in the future it definitely could come back. It's a good engine, right? The deck itself, the concept is really strong. Black Option is really strong. It's just this is a rough format to be Adventure in. Maybe when Gallant gets hit on the ban list, please. And Hoodie is no longer the top dog, then Adventure might be able to creep back, but as of right now, it's not looking great. But hey, speaking of Tamer Reliant decks, Omni, right? Omni was this is like one of those decks where like everyone was kind of hyping it up for a little bit, and then kind of just fell flat on its face, because it turns out the deck has consistency issues. Surprise, shocker. I mean, it got some pretty good buffs, actually, recently, right? Digital Gate Open was a really great buff for the deck. Not only does it search Digimon and Tamer, but it also lets you play your Nokia out for 1 cost, which is pretty good, honestly. It also received the new Greymon that lets you play the game under Emperor, which I think the deck was definitely struggling against, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there like some event where they used one of the software and we knew how many entrants it was, and Omni has like one of the lowest conversion rate?
Yeah, it was Omni and Gallant. They had the 2 highest play rates with the 2 worst conversion rates in the entire event.
Yeah, it's funny how Gallant end up just like being better.
Well, I mean, I feel like everyone predicted that Gallant would be like the best deck in the format, right? And then like that event happened, and we were like, oh, maybe Gallant's not the best deck in the format. And then Gallant proceeded to win nationals, and we were like, never mind. I guess, okay. But yeah, I mean, like realistically, Omni's power level is just like it's still like really strong. Miraculous Knight is still like a disgusting option. Yes, we have the ability to like delete the Miraculous Knight because of Justimon being in the format now. So that's like pretty cool. But realistically speaking, it's still going to suffer some consistency issues to a certain degree. And now there are actual, like, the amount of Tamer hate plus abilities to interact with delays, I think does hurt Omni just a smidge. But I think it will still see it, like, top every once in a while, just with the fact that Digital Gate Open is just such a powerful card, right? Alright. V2 Machine. So V2 Machine I think has a really interesting niche. It's one of the few decks in the format I think has like a very consistent Tamer removal, and it's really resource efficient. But the issue, because on paper you think like, oh, V2 Machine, you evade, bounce, like remove the Hoodie Tamers and stuff like that. But I think the issue you kind of run into is the fact that like you don't remove the Tamers fast enough sometimes. Like, it kind of depends, right? Like, if they go, like, white tamer plus, like, white option, you're not removing all the tamers in time. Because, like, Vade's removing 1 per turn. And, like, yeah, you can get, like, 2 Vades out. But, like, Hoodie's generating, like, 3 tamers a turn. And, like, that's kind of disgusting. And at that point, you're just not able to remove enough to, like, then you're getting blasted by Hoodie. But other than that, your Gallant matchup's not too shabby. It's like probably 50-50 if I'm being honest. And then your Rocks matchup is also like 50-50 depending on like if they are on DGO or not. If they're not on DGO, it's about 50-50. If they are on DGO, it's probably like 60-40, 55-45, whatever. And you're really great into Growl variants, right? Royal Knights is, however, pretty rough, especially with Oryukin in the format. So I think like V2, I think is like probably really strong niche into a ton of different decks just because of his versatility and tamer removal. And I think we will see V2 continue to see success. So I think it's like probably around tier 2 if I have to place it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best form of machine, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised this deck doing really well into the top decks. I also think this is probably where Deusmon is going to find a home in,
And
just to add a little extra removal, because you can get rid of 2 tamers, and you can either end on machine that can't be de-digied, or you can end on a Deusmon, get rid of an option, and lock your opponent out. So I think you get a lot of versatility with this.
yeah, I was gonna also say one of the big benefit of this deck in particular is that it just has like really good matchup spread into everything rogue and below.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just because it's able to deny so many plays. Like, can we talk about why Vaymon has fragment?
Dude, it's,
Yeah.
Why does this random?
disgusting.
Is this common level 5 randomly has fragment on top of everything else it does, and it evolved for like nothing. Like what the heck? Why is it like free?
I think the funniest thing that happened in tournament, I was playing in a purple hybrid, and obviously, very bad matchup for them, right? It's like they can never keep a Koichi on board. He got so desperate, he tried rivals barraging my Vademon, and then I fragment 3, and he proceeded to scoop the game afterward.
Yeah. Yeah, this deck is so cool.
It's really good.
And it can run Emperor.
Yeah, I'm about to say, the Emperor was sick, dude. Emperor was like such a huge adaptation, but yeah.
There's a lot of potential with this deck, I think, in this format.
I would agree with that. Alright, Demon Lords. This is the deck where like one person every format somehow tops with it. Last format, it was Pete. The format before that, they topped Nationals. There's 1 Demon Lords before that. And prior to that, this deck fell off the face of the earth because most people just saw it as an inferior Royal Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It seems it's not like it got anything new necessarily, so it's kind of in the same place, I feel like. But Hoodie looks like a terrible matchup.
It didn't have a top end nets.
It thought it did.
No,
Yeah, it was at top tables last round, but the guy lost.
No, it didn't top nats. It got 1 top in a PPG regional.
Yeah, that was
regional.
Pete. That was Mr. World Championship.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't top nats.
Okay, my bad. But yeah, I think the deck historically has struggled very badly into tamer reliant decks like Purple Hybrid, for example, and Hoodie is just Purple Hybrid on crack. So I really cannot see this deck being very good, but like it's definitely much better than tier 5, so like it's probably like somewhere in this ballpark, if I'm being frank.
The other issue was we had an entire villain set, and they like half of the Demon Lord they print doesn't work for this deck because it didn't have on play.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Yeah, it was just hate. They just did not want this deck to do good, which I thought was really weird.
yeah. All right, and then yeah. So following that up, we do have Galaxy. This is the deck that won the LCQ. Shout out to Llama Boy, the GOAT, Mr. Caniac combo himself. But yeah, Galaxy, we asked him about it, and I was like, hey, like, where do you think Galaxy is about right now, right? And he's like, oh, it's probably like, realistically, it's probably like lower end of tier 2. And he was saying that the reason why is because like, yeah, the Hoodie matchup seems pretty rough, just because of like, they're just like, they're outpacing you. And they do have Hex. Hex seems pretty good, I'll be honest. Because you can't suspend anything to get Ryuji off, right? You can't Comet Hammer. But you can, in fact, try to just rack up enough DP minus to kill the Hex. But Galaxy does get the Hex pretty big, to be honest. So I think maybe Hoodie's okay if you have Hexable out, right?
Yeah, Llama's a well-known down player.
He is a down player.
second only to Zero himself.
That's
so,
true.
I still think this deck is probably tier 2.
I would agree.
So
I do think a really scary part about the format, though, is I think the Gallant matchup has gotten significantly harder. And I say that because previously the only way Gallant could actually remove a Galaxy stack was like through Gallant X, right? And so like you have like your 1 layer of protection via like Lekis or Cresse. But with the new BT23 Gallant, they actually now have the ability to pop you twice in 1 turn, and you likely don't have that Cresse, because like that Cresse is like a 2 of usually.
isn't it like 10k?
What, the Gallant?
The Gallant pop?
Well,
It's one for every Digimon and Tamer. It gets 2k. So if you have one Digimon, one
and
Tamer.
Tamer.
Yeah,
Okay, my fault.
It is a very strong removal effect that they throw into a card with Floodgate.
Yeah, that's probably way tougher. But they also get access to free Examon, which is kind of crazy.
Free exit is pretty disgusting. I will give it that.
Yeah.
But I definitely do think like it's definitely a tier 2, for sure. I just like it. We'll see how it pans out in the format. I think Hexablow, while being a really strong tool, having a worse Gallant matchup definitely is like a little bit rough, I would say. But just like somewhere in this like tier 2 vein, I think any of these decks are like very solid. Like you can definitely play it out in an event.
I am actually very curious about adaptation that this deck can be making going forward, because you can technically play the CS Master in this list.
You could technically play CS Gallant, like.
Yeah. So it's interesting on like the stuff that it can do because of the color combo it has access to.
I mean, historically, like Galaxy has been like a very flexible deck, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some like really great adaptations to keep it afloat in the meta. But speaking of adaptations, right? We have a deck that recently had to make some adaptations because it got hit on the ban list, Sakuya. Sakuya did in fact make day 2 of Nationals. It was it was the player that got 3rd place at Nationals the year prior. His name is escaping me. I'm so sorry. But it is that same Sakuya player. And
Roach.
Yeah, it was Roach. Yeah, thank you. Shout out to him. Sakuya is, while it did lose Valder Arm, so it can't OTK you, which, I mean, it still technically can OTK you. Like, it has Red Plug and it had Shakamon. For players that wanted to do that, Sakuya was a huge Ruin Mode merchant, which was downright disgusting, if we're being real. Minus 10k so casually is just like, how do you even play through that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. We really need Valderarm right now. We need a hero. So, low key might be a cut Sakuya X for Valderarm, because we're down bad right now. Like the enemies are up.
Well,
right?
you also can't use Valderarm if you have that Talmon in your deck.
Oh, true. Yeah, I forgot it was true. Oh my gosh, yeah, we need Valderarm.
Or Scramble. I think they also hit it with Scramble.
Oh my gosh, yeah, bro. They nuked this deck, bro. We need Valderarm
this
bad
deck,
right now.
If you look at result, this deck completely fell off the map after the hit. It got one result at Nats and none of the other event.
And that's probably player diff, to be honest.
Yeah. And I want to think this deck is still strong because it has a lot of really good plays. Like, I think we talked to Weenie, right? And he thinks the deck is still really good, and I tend to agree. But my issue with this is I don't know how many people still is willing to play Sakuya, 1, and 2, how many people can pilot it to the extent that it needs, because you're a lot more resource intensive now, and then you have way less access to play. You have like the 1 rune play, and that's it. So you're not as flexible in dealing with stuff. Like you also like, you're inherently weaker in any format where Arcade is good too, you know. So
yeah,
we needed Valder so bad. So
yeah, I mean, realistically, Ruin looping people is still a disgusting thing. It's definitely better than most. Let's be frank. It's better than all these tier 4 decks, right? But it's I mean, it fell off the face of the earth before. I'm not sure if it's going to come back to Earth in his upcoming format. So yeah, I think tier 3, it's probably like the one person still playing Sakuya will like come up every once in a while, right?
You know what? I kind of want to move Master up to tier 2 now.
Yeah?
Pure Master?
Both Master. I feel like both Master is potentially tier 2. Like the deck I don't know, but they both seem way too good to be like tier 3 because like we talk about all these tier 3 deck and all the fault and issue with them, and then like Master doesn't have any glaring flaw like other than being like traditional Master is a little bit slow, and CS Master is like a little bit inconsistent, but like they're both like just really strong. So I don't know if they should be honestly be tier 3.
I'm on the move traditional Master, but I'll tell you, as a CS player, when you say a little inconsistent, brother, I mean,
I'm okay with
you've
this.
experienced it. Man.
Wait, no,
okay.
no. CS Master has the benefit of being able like to spam out Yugo and dig, and then still benefit with like the Yugo let you slam 5 for free. So like you can go like Terry like evolve 4 and back, Terra the Digivolve, play a Yugo, evolve Gargo, play another Yugo, dig like 7-8 cards as you climb up, and then like slam like evolve into your Angel Woman, Lady Devi, and slam the other one for 0 cost. Like it has really solid plays for
You
consistency.
still just described a 6-card combo.
Well, you have like I said, you have like a dig 8 or 9 cards to get all the pieces though. Like that's the difference.
It's not as much, man. And all it takes is for you to clunk on one of those cards and it's GG's. I'm just saying. I'm suffering here. All right. I'm the CS player. All right. I know how hard it is, and I know why we wish we had Galaxy level 4s. We're just not as consistent as everyone.
Fair enough. I think one of the Master, like the new Master, is just way too good for it to be tier 3. Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this handshake. All right. Slam Machine. This deck, it saw some success. It won a regionals actually. I think Slam Machine is just worse than V2 Machine in a lot of different ways. It's a lot less flexible in terms of like what it wants, like how Machine like wants to play. If we're being frank, it's a lot worse at removing bodies actually, which is really funny because you're slamming for like you're slamming this huge like big chungus. You have all these sources and like what are you copying? Like a DDG like 1? Pop an AK?
Yeah.
You know, like it's actually not removing very much. And the one thing it has over V2 is that it's better at recovering if the stack gets removed, because like you remove that 6, you just slam another 6, and like that's nifty. Well, like other than that, I think it is worse than V2 in a lot of different ways. Like no tamer removal, it's a lot more expensive, it's a lot more inconsistent. That being said, it's definitely, I mean, it's probably like between like tier 3 and 4, right? Like,
I mean, it's good enough to win. I think
yeah,
justifying tier 3.
it's good enough to win, you know. Like,
yeah.
if you see the high roll, it'll get there, but you really do have to be the chosen one that day. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Growlbirds. I mean, this deck is still performing, right? Even like with Rushkill getting hit, and Garuda X getting hit, which rest in peace, actual birds. Like they didn't deserve that, but you know.
Yeah, this deck has. If we're putting Growlithe where it is, this deck should be a tier higher, no? Because it's just consistently got more result.
I mean, yeah, this deck is like consistently performed over and over again, despite all odds. My only concern with this is like the introduction of like BT23 Gallant and how that interacts with like Growlbirds, because that's a little rough. I'm not gonna lie. That's like there's like 0 floating you're getting back with that, right?
Yeah.
But also,
but what if every single Gallant player just play OTK and doesn't play the new Gallant? What if?
I think that's
There's a high possibility that happens, by the way.
I think that's a mistake, but you know, I digress.
The card is, it's very likely to be ignored.
Yeah, I think the only issue that Growlbird has is that it was very reliant on the Gravity Crush initially in its previous iteration, being able to like, extend into the Phoenix X to like just full combo, and not having that anymore. Definitely, like you can, it's very noticeable, right? But like I'm okay with like these like Growl decks like holding hands side by side like around this like, area.
What a
Holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
What a nothing burger of a ban list. It basically only hit like Arcane.
Yeah, it was a terrible.
No, it was a good ban list. It was a good ban list.
No. Anyway, last deck on this tier list, and I know this is a very long tier list, and I want to say thank you to both Zero and Jaxie for doing this. So thank you super much for that.
Are we at 2 hours yet?
We're almost at 2 hours. We're at an hour and 55 minutes actually. Yeah, at one point I heard Zero start doing his Japanese homework. But yeah, so Galacti is the last deck we're going to be talking about. Galacti, obviously, this is like the tamer killer deck, right? This is the deck known for like destroying all these tamers, right? You have tamer removal on your Destro. Destro is like popping like 8 cost total, 10 cost total, whatever. And not only that, but you have Digivolve protection in the form of the new Destro. You have Digivolve yourself, albeit it's tied to the Zenith. And Ragnarok Cannon is a pretty sick win con, you know? It's also a very consistent deck, right? Like, you have searching in the form of the Vems, the Snatch, the Tamer, Zenith. It's very consistent. Those are all fantastic traits. That being said, I think this deck actually has a very uphill climb for it, to be honest with you. And I know some people will disagree with us. But, for example, we talked about it with Hoodie, right? This is a deck that can, like, put out so many more Tamers than you can remove, potentially, kind of just depending on, like, how it opens. So, like, okay, well, obviously, your one niche was removing Tamers, and we possibly can't even do that into the best deck in the format, right? Okay, so that's not great. Your Gallant matchup is pretty rough, I will be honest, right? They have so many... what's up?
One question I want to have is, how consistently do you get 8 cost total on pop with the Destro?
You'd have to up the 1 cost option. I forget what it's called. Fusionize? Yeah, so you'd have to up that to like 3 or 4. So not very consistently, to be frank.
So on average, you're just popping 7 costs, right?
Right.
Also, the big issue is you can't do both. You either have to choose to be Digi protected, or you have to pop their tamers.
Yeah.
You can't do both.
Yeah, that's another big problem, right? Like, even if you can pop 2 tamer, if they open well enough, they can play around that. But if you only pop 1 tamer, I do not think Hoodie cares if you just pop 1 tamer, because he spit out like 3-4 tamer. So the fact that you don't even reliably remove 2 tamer takes away one of your big advantage, or like one of the niche that you would do, right? So there is... on paper, you just seem like a worse version of V2 machine.
Yeah, and so your Gallant matchup's a little bit rough because, unlike V2 machine, who can actually be below the 13k threshold for Gammamon reasons, Galacti is always at 13k, which is very awkward because obviously that means you're susceptible to various forms of being popped, which sucks because then all your protection's getting like absolutely shredded. So that's not great. Into rocks. You're either popping their closes or you're getting Digivolve protection. You can't get both, like the others stated, which makes the Rocks matchup a little bit harder than expected. Growlmon matchups have historically always been very difficult. And Royal Knight is also a difficult matchup, historically speaking.
Terrible.
Yeah. So I can also imagine matchups like Ganku are probably pretty hard, right?
Isn't the new Crania also super annoying for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even remove the Arcade Tamer easily anymore, right? Because they just go, if you try to remove the Tamer, I think Crania protects them, no?
Yes, it's both Digi and Tamer. It's a disgusting card. So overall...
So like if they have Cobra and Boy and they drop Crania, you just sit there doing nothing.
Yeah, so overall, Galacti definitely has a very, very uphill climb in order to do anything in the format. Obviously it's better than these tier 5 decks because Galacti has actually done things. I think it actually won a regionals at one point too, pretty recently to be fair.
With Adventure, bro, is that like the Adventure tier where it used to be good but no longer good?
Yeah, I mean it's probably better than like a fair amount of like some of these decks. To be fair, it's probably like somewhere in this middle area. But...
Yeah,
we just need some more support.
Yeah, which, I mean, you're getting it, right? Zenith is a main antagonist in the comic, so it's inevitable. You're gonna get it, right?
I hope so. I don't know.
Time to print the first level 8 in the game.
Yeah. But with that being said, Wait. Galacti's a 6, isn't he?
It is. You were supposed to just move on. Just let the comments roast him.
Look, dude. You know what we got Zero for his birthday? And by we, I mean not me, because I would never do this. They got him a book for Alzheimer's.
Wait, no. I wasn't making a joke about Galacti being level 7. I was making a joke because the card is supposed to evolve into Gammamon. Is supposed to be like bigger than the planet, so it can't just be a level 7.
I just assumed your dementia kicked in. I'll be real.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no. So that is the very comprehensive and extensive BT23 tier list. Again, thank you to both Zero and Jaxie for joining me on this. I really do appreciate it. And be sure to check out Jaxie's YouTube channel, which all of the links will be down in the description below. I hope everyone enjoys their BT23 set release. It's going to be a very long format. We're going to be in this ride together for quite some time. And so, any last words?
Until what? Advanced Deck Sakuya?
Yeah, December. Yeah. So
we shall overcome the Hoodie menace or Hoodie, whatever it is. Somehow.
And then we have
together.
And then Gallant menace. Hold up.
Time Stranger waiting room. I'm so excited for Time Stranger set.
Yeah, Time Stranger set is gonna be fire, and Medusa. I'm very excited for Medusa, but yeah.
True. Yeah, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit.
All right, but that's in January, which is literally next year. So anyway. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. If you have made it to the very end of the video, we really do appreciate it. If you skip to the end of the video, I still appreciate it because that's still +1 views, and we love to see the support. So thank you all so much for watching. We really do appreciate it, and take it easy, everyone.
Bye.